know it's time. IAfootball is back, and we've got you covered with everything from the biggest hits to the biggest runs, from in-game highlights to post-game breakdown.
We are here talking any and all high school football.
From day one all the way to the dome, we've got you covered at IAfootball.
Welcome in, everybody. It is a Monday during the Iowa high school football season, so you are seeing me, which means that rankings are on the way. I'd appreciate if you tune in for the announcements before you go ahead and skip ahead to your respective class. Or, hey, stick around and check out all the rankings I will be going through and briefly running through everything you need to know in each class. And we've got some crazy stuff. Class 5A is just nuts right now. But we'll get into that. Let's get into that right now. Whoops, that's my locks and dogs from last week. But coming up today, obviously week 4 rankings, we're going to have Facebook Players of the Week. I'm going to go get that up right after I throw this up. So be sure. I think I have 9 guys I like. One thing, I'm going to have Rockfin Teams of the Week up today too, here shortly. I go through this, our rankers and I should say, go through these around Sunday afternoon, starting around noon. So if there's a guy that you think should have been on it and wasn't, it could very well be because the stats weren't on Rockfin. I know there's some stuff that was sent to me, stat-wise, video-wise, but the teams didn't have stats in on Rockfin, and I can't throw a player who doesn't have stats in on Rockfin. So that could be a reason why. But yeah, I just want to get that out there. That's a big deal for us. So before you freak out on me, that could be a very real reason why that your player did not make it on our teams. But appreciate you for going over there and subscribing for that. We're going to have updated positional rankings coming soon as well. This week, locks and dogs. And I think I might do some dome predictions. We're 3 weeks in. I think we all know kind of a decent run about these teams now. So figured now might be my time to take a stab at some dome picks. If you like that idea, drop a like on the video. As always, hit that little bell on the homepage, log in on your phone, get the YouTube app. That way, when you hit that little bell, it'll send you notifications so you don't miss this. As you know, I don't post these links right away. So those people with the bell are getting to see this first. Advertisement spots still open. If anyone's a part of a business, runs a business, and want to grow your brand alongside us, we're growing at a rapid rate. It's really fun to see. And as well, drop us a like and subscribe on YouTube. 100% free. I can't recommend you to do that enough. Helps support us and helps support you as well to push our content your way. Class 5A, here we go. It's gonna call. I just know this is gonna go this week. Let's just reveal it. We'll just get right into it. Let's see. Boom. There we go. Class 5A, new number 1, Ankeny Centennial. Hawkeyes jumps up as well. Valley's back up. There's just a weird circle of things, as you can see. Ankeny takes the dip. Dowling takes a dip, and it's really cause of Southeast Polk losing to Prairie. You have to throw Prairie up there. You have to dip Southeast Polk. You have to dip Ankeny because Ankeny lost to Southeast Polk, but they beat Dowling. So it's just there's a lot of weird scenarios going on right now. I know this is a funky list right now, but I promise you as the year goes on, and 3-4 weeks from now when teams are solidifying themselves, that this list will become more familiar. But it's kind of weird that Ankeny drops 3 spots after a win over Dowling. I understand that's weird. Prairie's new into the rankings, and they're all the way up in at number 8 just because they beat Southeast Polk. You got to slot them in up there. Prairie also lost to Cedar Falls, so you have to keep them below them. So there's a lot of stuff going on in Class 5A, and that's what makes it fun. It's a fun time right now in Class 5A, and like every single week, we've got big matchups. So there's plenty of time to move up and down, and I can assume that there is going to be a lot more movement up and down in this list. And Bettendorf, how about them? And Linn-Mar both inside the top 5 as of right now. Fun time in Class 5A. I'll move on to Class 4A, though. I'll leave this up there for a few more seconds if you want to pause the video. But we're off to Class 4A, where Lewis Central snuck by ADM. ADM showed a lot. They move up to number 7, as you can see. North Scott beat Assumption. Western Dubuque beats Xavier. I know Cash Parks was not available for Xavier, so you have to take that into note. But Western Dubuque beat Xavier, so you have to slot them up ahead. Gilbert looks good again. They beat Mason City. North Polk beats Webster City. Sorry about that. Pella, really, in my opinion, the team of the week in Class 4A. Pella beats Indianola 24-22. Really good game there. They slot up into the top 10. Indianola drops below them. Decorah beats Crestwood. Newton beats Norwalk. Those two kind of flip around a little bit, move up a little bit. Waverly Shell Rock gets a nice win over Bonneret Farrar. Bonneret Farrar drops down to 16, just on the edge. And Lamar's and Fort Dodge are your new teams here. Lamar's beat Boynton Hole, and Fort Dodge beat DCG. So there's your new Class 4A list. Not crazy movement. Washington Dubuque and Pella, kind of the big stories here, moving up 3 and 4 spots, respectively. Let's get moving on to Class 3A as I get my list ready to go. In 3A, not too much movement inside the top 5. Actually, no movement inside the top 5. Mount Vernon does move up 1 spot after a really good win over Benton. Benton still unranked from our 3A rankers perspective. I think they could be ranked, but I understand with the loss, not putting them in. It's still a team to look out for. Humboldt, I think the team of the week in Class 3A. They snap Van Meter's 26-game win streak, something crazy like that. Really good win. They move up 2 spots into the top 7. Waller Catholic hangs in there. Bishop Heelan, they fall to rival Sioux City East. They drop 3 spots. Atlantic, they are new into the top 10, and they are your only 4-0 team in Class 3A because they played a Week 0 game. They've got a tough test at Winterset, though. Winterset's a good team. Harlan moves up a spot. Nevada drops down 2 spots after losing to PCM. MOC Floyd Valley, Grinnell, West Delaware, and Sergeant Bluff Luton all sit there at the bottom. SBL has a good game against Harlan this week. That one could be fun. Solon Mount Vernon also a highlight this week as far as games go. Wink, wink. I could be there on Friday. I'm not sharpieing it in yet, but if you had to tell me right now, where am I going? It's looking like Mount Vernon at Solon. Things could change though. So if you got another game, if there's other big games this week, let me know. Holler. Let's get something set up. And yeah, we're about halfway through the season already, so I gotta hit more places and be unique. That's why I'm getting away from 5A every now and then. All right, we'll move on to Class 2A though, as I get my stuff ready to go. No movement inside the top 5. Spirit Lake West Lyon, Van Meter, PCM. Sorry, this is last week I was looking at. Here we go. Spirit Lake West Lyon, PCM jumps Van Meter. PCM beats a 3A innovative team. Van Meter obviously falls, but it was to a ranked 3A team. Not a bad loss by any means. Kemper beats AHSDW, Cherokee, Washington, Western Christian, Central Lyon, Georgia Little Rock, Des Moines Christian, and Roland Story all hang on right there. Really not a ton of movement in Class 2A just because the teams really kind of beating up on each other, if that makes sense. Kind of a slower week in Class 2A by some means. Davis County, they dropped 2 spots. Estville Lincoln Central hangs on right there. Clarendon also drops 2 spots. Central Lee and Meepo at 14 and 15. And then your new team in Class 2A this week is Sheraton Brock Oxenrider. Had another massive week. That dude just racks up yards rushing the football. But there is your 2A new rankings this week as we get ready for 1A, which will be here right now. There is your 1A rankings. Grundy Center and Emmitsburg hanging on right there. Regina moves up. Dyke New Hartford moves up. MFL Marmac moves up. And Hinton all move up because OABCIG falls to West Lyon. And it's just because they didn't really look too competitive against West Lyon. I think that's why the harsh drop of 3 spots. Again, still plenty of time to move up. They're in that district with Hinton, so that one's going to be a ton of fun to check out and watch for. But yeah, Dyke New Hartford beats Osage. Regina gets a nice one over a ranked 2A team in Meepo, 31-21. That team looks really good. Underwood gets their first win over St. Albert. Hudson moves up 7 spots. They are your huge jumper this week. They beat 2A's Jessup to get into the top 10. AHSTW falls to a really good 2A team in Kemper Catholic. Not worrying about that. Wilton, they beat Comanche. South Hardin jumped up 2 spots after beating Applington Parkersburg. Sumner Fredericksburg got a forfeit win, so they're going to hang on there. Grandview Christian, they look good against Southwest Valley. And your new teams in Class 1A are Central Springs and MVAO COU, the alphabet school. Central Springs beat Garner Hayfield Ventura, and MVAO COU beat Manson Northwest Webster. Oh, that's a lot of talking. Let's move on to Class A as I get my stuff set up and ready to go. Class A was a big week. We had a lot of ranked versus ranked matchups, but what we learned is that the higher ranked teams really took all of those ranked versus ranked matchups. No upsets, but West Hancock and St. Ansgar looked like they played an incredible game. Woodbury Central has just been on a tear, so it looks like our Class A ranker is giving them a nod over West Hancock this week. You can also see St. Ansgar rose after the loss to West Hancock. That was a 22-21 game. Two really good teams. Probably St. Ansgar a little underrated in our opinions, and West Hancock, I'm not going to say overrated, but I think Woodbury Central has just looked really good. Just beat up on a ranked team last week. Logan Magnolia no longer ranked, but still, Woodbury Central has been on a tear, so it looks like our ranker is giving them the bump. Madrid takes a dip down, one below that as well. Lisbon has looked really good. They beat up on a good Columbus team. Wapsie Valley got a ranked win over South win. Earlham got a win over ICAM Manning, who was 2-0 and kind of on the outside looking in. Pekin beats Danville. North Lynn is your new team and probably the team of the week at number 9. They beat Starmont 14-0, so they jump up right in that spot. I believe Starmont was number 9 last week. Let's see. No, Starmont was number 8 last week. So, I mean, kind of just flipping spots there. Starmont hangs out still, that number 11. As I said, St. Ansgar rises despite the loss just because of how they looked against the top 3, 4, 2 team, depending on how you look at it. Columbus drops 2 spots after the loss. A lot of these teams are the ranked teams that lost. Linville Sully, they're dropping 2 spots. Losing to Pleasantville, that's not a bad loss. A team a class ahead of them. Galen Catholic jumps up a spot. And the Nashville Plainfield, the only other undefeated team that was not ranked, they are ranked now. So there you have it, your Class A rankings. We'll move on to Class 8-man, our final rankings for today. Again, the big matchup, Lennox and Bedford. That was the big one. Lennox took care handedly. I mean, the score was not close. I think that's why Bedford probably took a harsh drop in our 8-man rankers' opinion because of just how uncompetitive it was. It felt like. So Don Bosco, Audubon, Iowa Valley, and Janesville, all you guys get a bump up. Bedford slots in at number 8, and then the rest kind of hangs out to be the same. GTRA gets the new spot after Coon Rapids Bear dips out. But yeah, 8-man, nothing too crazy. 8-man is really tough just because teams feel like they're kind of beating up on people all the time unless it's a ranked versus ranked matchup. So 8-man's kind of looking like the same a lot of the time. But we'll get some big matchups here soon as district play carries on. But yeah, that was your class or week 4 rankings across all 7 classes. Again, be sure to drop a like, drop a subscription on YouTube. Appreciate you all for tuning in. Come back on Wednesday for locks and dogs. You'll see how Nick and I did, and you'll see our picks for this week. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time.